What if your soul came here with a blueprint, a cosmic map whispering who you are meant to become? In a world that teaches us to chase purpose, what if true fulfillment comes from remembering in its stead? Today, we are exploring how the stars, metaphysics, and the wisdom of the unseen can guide us back home to ourselves with my guest, Jeanne Comeau. Welcome back to the Midlife Butterfly podcast. I am Kena Siu, your host, and today I'm joined here with Jeanne Comeau. Jeanne is a doctor, is a soulful metaphysician, ordained minister, and evolutionary astrologer devoted to guiding others through profound journeys of self-discovery and purpose. Blending deep metaphysical wisdom with practical life coaching, she helps people decode their birth chart as a living roadmap to awaken their soul's blueprint. Through her signature Know Your Star sessions, Jeanne illuminates karmic patterns, reveals hidden gifts, and offers clear direction for living in alignment with one's truest path. Her work bridges spirituality and psychology, inspiring confidence, healing, and the courage to step boldly into the life your soul was always meant to live. Welcome to the podcast, Jeanne.
Oh, thank you, Kenna. What a wonderful introduction. I, wow, is that really me?
Oh, it seems like it is. I mean, and I kind of like summarize it because you have quite a lot of
And
knowledge and wisdom and yes.
and thank you for that. And as I was listening to that, there are so many guides and healers and people that we seek out in this world because life, it hurts. Like the human experience comes with its ups and its downs. We like the ups, but we get the downs. And so we're always looking for, well, who can help me feel better? Who can help me get what I want? Who can help me? And so while that introduction certainly sounded like I could help everything and, make you a cake and with a cherry on the top, the truth of the matter is the one that can help you is you and only you. The answers are within. And so all in all of what I do, my goal is to lead, and even that word kind of turns me off sometimes, but to guide others, to show others, to reveal to others that the answers are within.
Yes.
They're not out there. And Ken, I'm on a roll now, so you set me on a roll. But I remember my life coming up before midlife. And don't want to totally age myself, but I've been through midlife. Okay. So the internet wasn't that prevalent when I was in my teens, and you had to go to the bookstores for the books. And there weren't a lot of quote unquote self-help books or helpers, but we all felt that we needed help to get through life. And I started to build my library of self-help books, one after another after another. And I liken it, Kenna, to, where was the answer? Which teacher, which guru, which guide was really going to fix me? Oh, you want $200? Oh, you want 1,000? How much is this one going to cost? And then depending on the way they tapped into my psyche and triggered my fears, which is another topic I'd love to get to because as coaches, you and I, triggering fears is not the way to lead. But anyways, these various healers would trigger the fears, and I would sign up and I would believe that this would be it. And of course, it never really was, right? Until I came through, a spiritual journey, when we're young, who wants to hear about God? Depending on your upbringing, of course, but my upbringing, who wants to hear about God? Because that means I'm going to have to stop living, because the fear of the wrath of God, I can't do anything, everything is sinning.
Yes.
Roman Catholic, everything's a sin.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
Right, right, right. So, at any rate, through the spirituality of it, and then finally leading to metaphysics, and what led me to want to become fully ensconced in metaphysics, and where the PhD came from. Okay, right, that's a nice thing to have, but it shows that I went through the work. And I continue to go through the work. I'm working on another doctorate in metaphysical physical science because I want to feel it within me. I want it. I want to know how to tap into those answers that are within me. No one outside of us can fix us. And all of the people that we work with can only get us a step closer.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
So
thank
hopefully
you
that
so much.
opened us up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what we are here for, to again to find our own answers. And as you said, there are too many people out there, and even us as coaches, and we are simply guides because
We're
as you
simply
are
guides.
saying, the answers are within us.
The answers are within us. And a lot of times with clients, and I remember even in my story too, it was like I had to be given permission to believe that.
Mm,
I had to be given permission to believe that because there's so much external pressure that tells us, I've got the thing that's going to make you happy. And in the younger years, it can be that beautiful bag, purse, and, all these external things that are going to make, or a person is going to make you happy. No way.
yes.
It can't. It's an inside job. And so, how do we do the inside work? Well, we have to get to know who we are, and we have to face the things that hurt and
Yes.
understand why they hurt. Right, Kena? Kena?
Yes.
That's what I found. And it hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you so much. Like, just your words are just giving me chills because, yeah, since we are born, we are always, I mean, our upbringing is to focus always in the exterior, right? And
Right.
then they tell you how you're supposed to behave and what to say and what to think. And then they put consciously or unconsciously all these programs, right? Either
Yeah.
if it's for culture, society, religion. And
Hmm.
it's just crazy how confusing we became that fast. I mean,
Yes.
that young, in
Yes.
between our zero, even before, probably since we are in our mom's womb, until
Yes.
7. By that time, we
You're formed.
already, yeah,
7. Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
we
I
get
was
lost that
just
fast.
thinking, we learn from the beginning
Yes.
that love is outside of us. You
Hmm.
see? So mom and dad, bless us that have had them, and others that have loved and cared for us and various capabilities that they had, right? So we have to forgive them. But we learned that even love, and so then self-love was outside of us.
Yes.
And so there became, it's part of the separation from universal one. It's the human experience to
Hmm.
lead us back to self-love and we're all one pixel in the big bright picture of life.
Yeah. And the thing is to come back to that self-love. I mean, e- everyone has their own journey, but for me, it took me 4 decades.
4 decades is not unusual,
Okay.
is what I've seen.
Hmm.
And here we are on the Midlife Butterfly podcast, which I
Yeah.
loved. The midlife, I think, midlife is when we start the journey home.
Yeah, totally
And
agree. It's the awakening.
it is. And for some people, everything that you've done up to then prepares you for it,
Hmm.
really does prepare you for it. So it's yes.
Mm, yes. Mm. So I would like, before we move forward, to know what is it, or how do you find, how do you define what's the soul's blueprint, and also, since you know a lot about metaphysics, also to explain what is metaphysics.
Ah, metaphysics is a science. I believe it's a science. And it's the search for the meaning of life. So, metaphysics is the search for the truth. So, all of these various things fall under the umbrella of metaphysics. We've heard of, well, it's had a long storied history, but for me, it's the search for the meaning of life. It is true philosophy. It transcends all religions. It is comprised of all of the masters, Buddha, Jesus, um, Allah. You bring them all in because there
Yeah.
is no separation. So in the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning was the one.
Mm,
There was the one energy. Call it energy, call it light, call it love, because it really is love.
yes.
Where did it come from? Well, I can't answer that. And I don't feel bad about that because no one's been able to answer that. It just always was, is the best that we can say. But
Yeah.
this energy was always there, and this energy was pure light and pure love to the essence that no one can truly understand. I mean, think about feeling true love in your life, maybe from one of your parents or an aunt or an uncle, and you just felt so loved. That's wonderful. But the pure love of our Creator exceeds that beyond all imagination. So it is all pure love. And this light, as the story is told to us, wanted to experience itself. And it couldn't experience itself being itself. And it created. It created other entities, created what eventually on planet Earth became humans. You know, we'll leave all of the other galaxies, and that'll blow your mind out there, right? But it created humans, and so we all are from the one. Um, and that is the essence of metaphysics. We believe that. I believe everything is energy because everything is energy. So I get a lot into energy healing, and we are our physical bodies are 99.999 something percent energy. We are only the smallest, minutest amount of matter. And so we can get into the science of all of that. But what people need to realize is they're made up of energy, they're made up of the earth, they're made up of the cosmos. We are holograms. You know, we can get there. We truly are holograms. We are creating our own individual reality with our thoughts.
Hmm.
Your thoughts create your life. And I work with my clients in this space a lot. Your thoughts create your life. Guard them. They're your treasure.
Hmm.
All right. Really guard what's coming into your mind. So metaphysics can touch us into all of these spaces. And for me, it answered all of the questions that I had been asking and asking and asking. And it allowed me to truly tap into the belief that I am part of the one. You see, religion didn't do that for me. You know, Christianity, I was raised Roman Catholic, and then I delved into non-denominational Christianity, which was part of the journey. It helped a lot, actually, because it allowed me to break away from the strictness of Roman Catholicism, and it allowed me to understand the love of Jesus, right? Who was here and did bring love and showed us that we are all of the one. You see, he was the way shower, brought the message to us, as many others have. And so that to me is metaphysics. I might have gone off on a sideways there, but we're all one, and we have to. I don't say we have to. In time, either be it this lifetime or another lifetime, because I do believe in reincarnation, and that souls come and reincarnate. It's either this lifetime or another lifetime, but throughout every lifetime, the goal is to become closer to the essence of the one. The goal is to transcend all of the lessons of the human experience. And the closer you become, eventually you become quote unquote enlightened. Eventually you don't reincarnate as a human unless you want to, unless by choice to help the people, such as the enlightened masters would do. They would come back by choice because it's not an easy journey for anybody, no matter what your circumstances are. Somebody born into poverty, somebody born into extreme wealth, different lifestyles, still human pain, still human cycle pain. It doesn't make it easier one way or another.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. And yeah, because it doesn't matter. Each of us, we have our own experience, our human experience here. And as you said, I also believe in reincarnation. So it means that every time it's going to be different, right? Because every time we
Yes.
arrive, I mean, we come from a blank canvas.
Yes.
And
Well, actually, I'd like to add to the blank canvas.
yes.
Mm. You come from the DNA of all of the previous lives, the
Oh,
energetic, emotional
okay.
DNA. And so I'm an evolutionary astrologer. There are many, I'll delve into that for a second and then come back to the canvas. But there are many branches of astrology. And astrology has existed for eons and eons. Um, Ancient Mesopotamia, the earliest recorded evidence of astrology, I say it goes back before then to civilizations that are still buried on this planet, right? So astrology has always guided humans to understanding their what was happening on Earth, which was really what it was used first and foremost for farming and just keeping society intact and together. And then it moved into, well, you're a Leo or you're a Pisces, so these are your characteristics. And then coming up through the 60s, and after Sigmund Freud brought us psychology, Carl Jung came along and took that deeper into what is called depth psychology, where we really understand the triggers of the human psyche through through astrology. Astrology plays into depth psychology. And so evolutionary astrology, just to way fast forward that, asks us, why do you have the chart you have? And by chart, I mean birth chart. Why do you have the birth chart you have? And so this takes us back to the blank canvas, or the canvas, if you will.
Mm.
In every lifetime, the soul comes forward to experience again. Still looking to evolve, to never have to experience the pain of human existence again, but comes to experience again and chooses the time and moment of birth and place and birth family. It chooses the situations for the soul's evolutionary intention for the lifetime. And so what transcends death and rebirth is the emotional DNA. I'll call it DNA, but the emotions.
Mm.
We, I remember. I'm just by the way, I'm the fourth of 9 children, so that's a lot of kids. And I remember my mom saying, "I don't know how you can all be so different. You all came out of the same kitchen." What a great saying, right? Well, we are different because we're different souls. And if only she'd have known, she might have had an easier go at it. Uh,
Yes.
but we all come in with soul intention,
Mm.
agenda for the lifetime.
Is this the
Eh,
soul's blueprint?
it is. It
Okay.
is the soul's blueprint. Now, there are a lot of ways nowadays that we're looking at the soul's blueprint. Certainly, human design taps into it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And we can go back to the earlier personality tests like Myers-Briggs. Maybe a number of people have had that tap into it. I'm a Gallup Strengths Finder coach. And even though that assessment doesn't ask for birth information, it's uncanny how just by asking a number of questions, it taps into your psyche and it ties back to the blueprint. I can see that. So all these tests have come along and they do tell us a lot about ourselves. So we come in with intention, and I'll come to this part, Kenna. The key to going within, tapping into your inner self, the key to self-love is knowing yourself. Knowing yourself.
Yeah, totally
Um,
agreed.
the ancient Greek temple at Apollo, if I said that right, know thyself.
Yes.
The ancient philosophers, know thyself. Many teachers, know thyself. So what does that mean? Know what your soul's blueprint is.
Mm,
Evolutionary astrology, I I'm a practitioner of it. I'm certified in it because I see it works. It works.
mhm.
So feel free to interrupt me at any time, Ken, 'cause I'll just keep going.
I'm just
You,
in
you got
awe.
a Leo here. She'll just keep going.
I'm
Um,
just in awe with all this wisdom that you are sharing. And yeah, thank you for asking because I want to go back to a couple of things. At one point, you mentioned dots are your treasure. I love
yes,
this
yes,
because I mean, the way we have programmed, at one point during my journey, I was hearing a lot of stuff that, oh, the ego is your enemy. It's like, and now I know it's not my enemy
it's not your enemy.
anymore, right? But it's just about and then realizing or knowing those different voices that are in our head. I mean, that's the
Right.
way I perceive it. So I do love this part of you that you said, dots are your treasures, because if
Mhm.
we consider them that way, we will be more aware, conscious, and of keeping them like that as a treasure and saying
Yes.
what is it really, you know, gold in here and what it is not, to have that awareness to really take them away.
It's extremely powerful. It's extremely powerful. In Genesis, God spoke the word. So speak about the word, right? A word is first a thought before it's spoken, all right?
Yeah.
And it creates is the message there. If you think a thought, you're creating. If you speak a thought, you're creating more powerfully because everything is energy. So it's got vibration and it goes out.
Yes.
When it, we, our minds go off all the time. It's not easy to stop the mind. But if we start on the journey, and I'll just back up for a second. Everything that we're saying here is not easy. I just have to point that out. It's not
Mhm.
easy. But when you know better, you do better, to quote Maya Angelou.
Oh yeah, I
When you
love
know
that
better, you do
quote.
better.
Yeah.
And for some of our listeners, maybe this is the first time they're really hearing what we're saying about their thoughts. And so this can be a seed, this can be a beginning, but it doesn't mean that you're able to stop the negative thoughts now because you aren't.
Mhm.
I'll go back to the ego. Everything about you is good, even the ego. You need the
Mhm.
ego. If you
Yeah,
didn't have the ego, you wouldn't exist.
true.
All right. So it's part of the human experience. Um, the interesting thing about the ego is we're led to believe that the ego is only interested in self. um, self-preservation at the expense of everybody else. And to
Mm,
some degree it is.
mm,
And that's because it's fittest of, we have to survive, right?
yeah.
So the ego keeps us surviving. But if we can know that our ego is there to help us survive and work it to the point where we're thinking more about others than we are about ourselves.
Mhm.
How can I be kinder to others? How can I stop thinking about just me and what I need, but start to think about others in a nutshell. I may come back to that topic. And so I come back to thoughts. What you think you create, that is absolutely true,
Yes.
be it negative or positive. So when we look at our lives, and this is when I work with clients, when we look at our lives, we have to realize and accept we're responsible. We're responsible. Another great mom quote, because my mom had them all. Your life is what you make it, she told me. I was in my young 20s, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is not what I want. This is not what I want, and it's what I created. Well, how do I do better? I think that just got me to go to the bookstore and buy more self-help books, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
So thoughts are things and thoughts create. And the key to getting away from the negative thoughts, be they of beating yourself up or negative thoughts about others as you seek to compare yourself to others so you can feel better about yourself. Those are negative thoughts.
mhm.
Or negative thoughts about what you did wrong in the past. They all create this dark cloud around you. And
Yes, when
and
it
and you just sink.
yeah. Because then from there also comes our emotions, right? Which you also mentioned. And because as you said, like if we are blaming ourselves for what we did in the past, is when
Right.
the shame and the guilt is, and we have so many, I mean, it depends on our history, but as humans, we those emotions are also there.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it can bring us to this rabbit hole and then not be able then to allow ourselves to shine or to feel better because we are stuck in those emotions that
Yes.
in a way come from the thoughts. But I do believe that the body is the subconscious mind.
Mhm.
So it's like a
Well,
little,
it'll bring illness. It'll make you sick.
yes,
So energy and motion, emotions,
emotions. Yeah.
energy, emotions. So these dark clouds that we bring about through negative thoughts do create an emotion in our physical body that brings disharmony.
Hmm.
That will bring illness. You see, it's difficult to accept this, but unless we're being poisoned, and we are to some degree through food and water, and in this world these days, unless we're being poisoned, we're creating the disharmony in our body with our thoughts. So we're making
Yeah.
ourselves sick
Hmm.
with our thoughts. So how do we stop the negative thoughts? It takes courage. And even when you're crying, and I've been there, and even when you're crying, you say, God loves me. And the tears are coming down, or whatever you refer to higher consciousness as,
Yeah.
loves me, loves me, loves me. Start to just keep saying it, start small. I am loved, I am loved, I am loved.
Hmm.
And bat out the negative thoughts to the best of your ability. The sun will come up tomorrow. It
Yeah.
will. And so it'll feel better. Um, and sometimes, yes, just go to bed and pull the covers up and cry, and the sun will come up tomorrow. And I am loved, I am loved. And it's really important to try to stay in the here and now. A great line, Kena, is Kena. I
Can
don't know why. Kena, apologies.
no
Is
worries.
I'm completely aware in the here and now.
I
I
love that.
am completely aware in the here and now. This is a phrase that comes to us through a methodology called the fourth way. It's a spiritual path. I am completely aware in the here and now, and it seeks us to teach us to remember who we are, which is part of the one, pure love. I am
Hmm.
loved, I am loved, I am loved. I'm completely aware in the here and now. And as far as beating ourselves up, which I've done, I can still do that, right? I learned, I don't know where I ever got it from, but early on, because I was almost taking on the guilt of what happened in the family home, you see. And
Mm.
I just, it dawned on me one day, I was a kid. What did I know? I couldn't fix it. I was only a child. So forgive yourself for what you weren't able to do. Help your mom, help your dad, help your siblings. I was only a child. I did the best I could. I did the best I could. And
And even
so
as grown-ups too,
yeah, yeah,
because I think the fact that we're gonna do and have mistakes in lives, like
yes,
or failures, but I don't like calling them failures anymore.
no,
They are learning lessons,
they are.
right?
They
So
are.
it's about just knowing that we are in this journey, and it's about that, about keep learning, because
Yes,
that's the only way we can get to know ourselves better.
that is the only way. And we have to know ourselves better.
Hmm.
Uh, know thyself.
Know thyself.
Know thyself is and the surrender to know thyself. Know
Oh.
thyself, accept thyself. Surrender to who you are, to surrender to everything that's happened. Let it go.
Hmm.
Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I,
And
I
I think,
wonder, I wonder what is it about society? I'd love, what is it about society that's got us locked into just beating the hell out of ourselves?
well, it's the way they can manipulate us,
Yeah, right.
unfortunately.
Do you think there's a sense of if they're not happy, then they'll toe the line. They won't be independently happy, and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about helping people, all of us, reach an enlightened society.
Hmm.
That's what motivates me every day. There is an enlightened society, and it's a time where we all have come to an understanding that we are part of the one, that because of that there is self-love and there's love of others before thyself. And that takes care of that ego that wants to just discount other people or say bad things about other people or do bad things to other people.
Hmm.
They're you. They're
Yes,
you. And
exactly. Just
eh,
another version of it.
what's interesting about energy is there's the boomerang effect. So let's go back to thoughts, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I could be driving down the street with a friend and somebody cuts him off and he's got a few words to say. And I say, that's coming right back at you, honey. Right back at you. It's the boomerang.
Mm.
And so let's bring up that dark cloud again. All those negative thoughts that we have about ourselves, that we seek to make ourselves feel better by dragging others down. And social media is a great way to drag others down,
Hmm.
right? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. So, puffing ourselves up, puffing up the false ego, dragging others down, not loving the others for simply being who they are,
Hmm.
will darken your cloud.
Yes. And we come back again to the know yourself, because the more we get to know ourselves by accepting and
Mhm.
understanding our
Mhm.
light and our shadow, the
Yes,
more we're gonna be able to accept
yes,
others. It has to come
yes,
from within. Again, it's
yeah.
the self is first.
the self is first. So know yourself. Know um, why you're different than others. This is
Mm.
another interesting thing. When you know yourself, you know you're different than others. And that's cool. That's really cool. Why do you want to be like everybody else? Again, social media. Why do you want to look like these people, talk like these people, dress like these people? You want to be yourself. Everybody else is taken. I
Exactly.
forget who said that. Everybody else is taken. Just be you. And
Yes.
when you know yourself and you accept yourself for the DNA that you came in with and what you're here to do in this lifetime, then the ego takes a sidestep, because it doesn't
Mm.
have to hold up the false self anymore. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about living why you came here. It's about living your mission. And mission doesn't need to be grand, but everybody came here for a purpose.
Mhm.
And, did you come here to be a writer, a singer? Did you come here to be the best mom ever, the best aunt ever, whatever it is? And they're all wonderful things
Mhm.
because it's you. And that's why you
Yes.
came here. So we are all to express in our unique ways.
Yeah.
And it's like if you look at the one and you take a look at Earth, take a look at all the souls that are on Earth
Mhm.
incarnated today, and each one is a pixel in the large picture, a unique pixel. And
Yes.
so when we're all our authentic self, then the Earth lights up. It's
Mm.
enlightened.
Yeah. I want to come back to that purpose because I do think that since we are very young, we are pushed to know that
Mhm.
purpose. And sometimes it's so frustrated. I mean, it took me a while to then become an entrepreneur and knowing what I wanted to do. And that has evolved anyway.
Mhm.
But I felt at one point that there was like this pressure and pressure. And now what I have come kind of like to a conclusion, still getting that answer between quotes, is the fact that our purpose really is to live,
It
to
is.
live this human experience.
Yes.
And because I have talked to women, and sometimes it's like, and more if they are in life transitions, it's like, I don't know who I am. I feel lost and broken and etc., etc. And it's like, I don't know what my life purpose is. Well, what about if at this very moment, your life purpose is to, I don't know, grieve your marriage,
Mhm.
or your life purpose at this moment is to take care of your children because
Mhm.
they're growing up and they need you there.
Mhm.
We always think that, as you said, it needs to be something big, the purpose in life. No, it's about living. And what are you choosing to live now in this
Right.
present moment?
And you started off with saying the woman says, I don't know who I am. That's the key right there.
Yes,
Know yourself. The other thing is the purpose changes throughout the lifetime.
true.
It changes according to the stage of life. When you're in your, at 29, 30, you go through your first Saturn return, you're leaving adolescence, you're going into adulthood. So just as an example, but it changes as you go through life. But what doesn't change is the energy that you came in with by way of skills and talents. They're there.
Mm.
They're there in your chart. And you were created, or you incarnated with particular skills and talents that you are meant to express in the world
Mm.
through yourself.
Okay.
Creativity. Everybody is supposed to be creating, okay? Creativity brings joy. It's life.
Yes.
It's life. When we're in that dark cloud, no one can create, right? We just tunnel dug ourselves and we got to get out of there. I
Hmm.
am loved, I am loved, I am loved to get yourself out of the hole. And so The purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? Absolutely, Kenna. It is to live your life, to create, to bring joy, to use the skills and talents that you came in with, to express and love humanity with. Right? So see, we're all here to be part of the whole, and not as individual false egos, but we're all here to be part of the whole. And yeah.
I love this so much. Yes. I would like to know, like, which kind of metaphysical practices can you offer to, in this case, midlife women who are in transitions, uh, to get to know themselves better, to get into alignment with their soul's blueprint?
Meditate. And so it's and what does meditate mean? It means many different things to many different people. You can go so far as to have the candle, have the incense, have the chimes, you have all the paraphernalia. That's wonderful if that's how you like to meditate. It can be as simple as sitting at a dining room chair, back straight, feet on the floor, closing your eyes, and making the room as quiet as you can, starting for 5 minutes a day. The key is consistency. So what I would first recommend is be still. Go within. Remember, everything is within. Feel it. See, we don't like to meditate because we then start to feel. But if we're unable to feel who we really are, how can we connect with who we really are? We have to feel it. And in the up until midlife, life keeps us busy. So we don't have to feel. We're on the treadmill. We come up, we get through the family experience, God bless us, and then we get through the whole socialization, and we're looking to mate, and we're looking to have families and go to school, and then it's the job, and then finally all of this is done, and you get to midlife, and none of that holds any more value. You're going through a transition. You're going home. And so how do you get home? You go within and you meditate. So I recommend starting meditating. And one thing that works great is you can get it out on YouTube, Tibetan singing bowls, just Tibetan singing bowls. And it's a 10-minute YouTube video. So when it stops, you're done, but just keep your eyes closed. And yes, you're going to think about everything. And the negative thoughts are going to come. So what I would recommend then that you add is a mantra. I am loved, I am loved, I am loved. Until you feel loved by source, because that's the only love that matters. That's the only love that's true. There's no humans will tell you they love you. Well, we've all experienced that. Okay. Some of it holds and most of it doesn't. And so, because people are people and they're going along their way, and we forgive them for that. And so meditate. Kenna, that's what I really recommend is start there. Bring in an affirmation.
Okay.
I am loved, I am loved. Another great affirmation that I'd love to share with your audience is I look with wonder at that which lies before me. That's a hopeful one. So write that down. I look with wonder at that which lies before me. This is metaphysical prayer. It's an affirmation. And it's hard to say it when you're crying, but then if you keep doing it, you might start laughing. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to drag ourselves through it. No one can do it for us.
Definitely. Yeah.
And some days are easier than others. And why? Well, there are energetic influences. that are influencing you. And there's environmental influences. And so we talk energetically. I'll come back to astrology. You were born with a birth chart and your soul's blueprint. Um, there are positions of planets in different realms of your human experience. We call them houses. And those planets have what we call aspects in astrology, but they're geometric connections. And so they're energetic connections. And so some planets help each other, and some planets oppose each other and create friction in the life. And that's part of the life blueprint story. So if you understand your chart, if you know yourself through evolutionary astrology, and I'm one and there are others out there, evolutionary astrology is the type of astrology to go into. It is soul blueprint astrology. If you understand yourself that way, you're able to understand what your triggers are, what's triggering you. Okay, why do I find myself in that position again? What
Mm-hmm.
triggers you? Now, then, when you're able to absorb your soul's blueprint and those energies that are playing out in your life, I guarantee it. This is real stuff. They're playing out. It's happening, whether you know about it or not. Some years you can look back on your life. Some years were great, some not so great. Well, things were happening. You were going through key points in your evolutionary soul blueprint. What then happens, Kenna, is the sky is changing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are further influences to your birth chart that comes from the changing sky. And it is uncanny when I read people's astrology, excuse me for the allergies. When I read people's astrology, it is uncanny how at the different phases of life, different planetary configurations come along and say, it's time to do that soul lesson. It's time to do
Mm-hmm.
that soul lesson. So let's talk about knowing better and doing better. When you know that you're in a phase of life, and sometimes they can be 2, 3 years long. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a phase of life where you're in a soul lesson phase of life. When you understand that, your emotions are easier to deal with. I don't say they go away,
Mm-hmm.
but you understand what's triggering them. And you can almost even laugh. You can say, oh, that's that thing happening there. And, the astrologer told me this is all lifting by January 2026. Thank God. Right? And it will. And it will.
Okay.
So hopefully that answered. I got carried away. I got carried
Well,
away.
I guess I'm gonna have to have a reading with you because I have something that I've been working for a few years and it would be nice to have a date, I guess.
One of the more interesting points is what is called the progressed moon. So you're born with the moon in a particular position. And the moon, there's in astrology what's called progressions, and there's a mathematical calculation about it. Who cares about that? But every 2.5 years, you enter into a different emotional phase of life.
Oh.
It's a different emotional phase of life. And it's what it means for an individual is all dictated by where that progressed moon lands in their chart, what astrological sign it's landing in, and what birth chart planets it is connecting to. And so we go through every 2.5 years. And in fact, it takes the progressed moon 27 and a half years to come through every house and every sign. 20. It goes around the circle every 27 and a half years. And at any point in time, you can look back to 27 and a half years ago in your life and get a sense of your
Hmm.
emotional self.
Okay.
And it's really interesting to do that. COVID brought us all many gifts, right? Many gifts. That's how
Agree.
I look at COVID.
Yeah, me too.
To me, yeah, I landed in the metaphysical school and I really studied my stars. Know your stars, which is my trademark for know thyself through evolutionary astrology. But I really studied it, and it was amazing to me. What the patterns, the patterns, the patterns. And so I
Mm.
love working with everybody actually, but it's never too late. Well, it's never too late to be what you might have always been or should have been
Oh, never.
or was
Definitely.
created to be.
Yeah.
What were you created to be? Okay, we can add the do and have, because we were all created to have joy and abundance. And abundance just doesn't mean a big bank account, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. Ah, so much juiciness in here. Mm. I'm just thinking, where can we go now?
Ah, yes. Where can we go now?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
well, our audience is primarily women, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so you and I on the warm up, we were going to have a little bit of a chat about the physics, the physical of midlife,
Yes. Oh, yes.
hormones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes. We
So,
mentioned
so
something. Yeah.
let's
Before we
talk about
started.
estrogen. Let's talk about testosterone, and
Hmm.
let's talk about progesterone, and there's thyroid and there's all sorts of hormones. So a passion of mine, and I think one of your follow-on questions was, what is it do I like to do? Some people like to go for a walk in the garden. Well, I love to research all things health.
Hmm.
Um, so menopause comes upon us in our early 50s on average.
Hmm.
But perimenopause can start up to 10 years ahead of that. And to understand how difficult the transition can be. Oh, another funny one about my mother. I remember visiting her before I was in my 30s and maybe 40s. It had to be the 40s. She says, "Oh, you're going to be going through the change soon." I said, "The change? The change?" I'm looking at my clothes, the change. I had no idea what she's talking about, the change.
Yes.
And she offered some wisdom words, I'm sure, which unfortunately I don't remember, but I did go through it. And if a woman physically is well endowed, voluptuous woman,
Hmm.
she's had a lot of estrogen raging through her body through her entire life. Um, it is hard for estrogen-rich women to go through menopause. Why? Because the estrogen that your body thrived on, and it had a lot of it, is leaving. It's leaving. It's done its purpose. It's going to go away,
Hmm.
and it's more difficult. If a woman less voluptuous, okay,
Hmm.
she had more, we could say more testosterone. And by the way, women have testosterone just like men do. It's very important for women, testosterone. It's what keeps us from falling when we're 90, right? So it's a very important
Hmm.
hormone. So in perimenopause, these hormones start to go crazy, and we can experience night sweats, waking up soaking wet. We're not sleeping. We're laughing and we're crying at the same time. We're crying. We don't know why we're crying. It's a range of emotions. I was looking at the clock and I've lost track of time. But anyways, um, I I was going through it and I came across a book by Suzanne Summers, who is now passed. And yes, she did pass away of cancer. But I don't want that to deter people from what I'm about to share. At any rate, her book called The Sexy Years changed my life. I
Okay.
remember I read it in one weekend and I cried the whole weekend because everything that she said I was going through. And there was a time in our country's history, in the history of the world, where men could legally submit their wives to insane asylums when they went through menopause.
Oh my God.
Legally just check them in. And they did that. And a lot of women felt like they were going insane. It's a very difficult experience for a
Mhm.
lot of women. For me, what finally got me going was I found bioidentical hormone therapy. So it's not for everybody. Everybody do their homework. There's been controversy on it about does it cause breast cancer? Does it not cause breast cancer? So I'm not telling anybody what to do except for to do your homework and research the European nations, not just the United States, which by the way, the FDA is now coming out saying that bioidentical, not synthetic, bioidentical hormone therapy is beneficial to women in their aging years. And the key is to come into them within 10 years of exit of menopause, all right, for the best long-lasting effects. So yeah, I say to women, if you've never heard of it or you're afraid of it, just do your own homework and make your own decisions
Can you
and follow.
share, sorry,
Yes,
can you share a bit about what this kind of therapy does?
sure. Um, so bioidentical is synthesized naturally, so it's not chemical.
Okay.
So it's as close to what your body would create if your body were creating it.
Mm,
And it there are doctors all over now that are doing this, bioidentical. And there are traditional doctors that are going to be starting to prescribe it, not prescribing it too, but they're prescribing the synthetic form of it. That's not what you want. You don't
okay.
want what the insurance companies are going to pay for. Okay.
Gonna keep
You
feeding
want
them
what
there.
you're going to have to pay for. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not too expensive considering what you're going to get, which is
Mm-hmm.
your life back. Your life back.
Mm,
You can't think, the story is long. So you work with a bioidentical therapy doctor.
mm-hmm.
They either through a saliva test or a blood test, they extract stuff from you, and they're
Mm-hmm.
able to tell you what they're going to start you on. I mean, essentially, they're going to give you estrogen, and they're going
Okay.
to give you testosterone, and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
give you progesterone. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
give you all three, and they're going to give it in enough dose, just enough dose to relieve the symptoms to get your life back on track. So the woman who said to you, the women who say, I don't know who I am anymore. Well,
Mm-hmm.
no, because you can't think straight.
Mm,
You can't think straight. And you've lost all sense. You know, another thing that happens when these hormones start to leave us, we start to feel old. You know, it all happens. And I'm not
mm-hmm.
just talking about how you look, but you feel it.
Okay.
There's a real depression sets in. And by the way, um, when the husbands could no longer lock the women up, and you know the women's revolution came along in the 60s and the 70s, birth control came about. And what was birth control? Birth control started giving women um, synthetic hormones. You
Yeah.
know, so birth control, synthetic hormones, you know, that's questionable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, working with the hormones and big pharma making money, they came up with um, supplementation for women in menopause. And so there were these different types of prescriptions. I can't recall their names now. And women were starting to thrive, you know, that this was really helping the women in the 60s and the 70s, you know, in the 80s. They were thriving. And then along in 2002, I'll never forget that year, came something called the Women's Health Initiative. This study, which is now, and even the FDA put out a report on this, it had false evidence. I mean, it was a bad study all
Oh.
around bad study. But what it did was it put the fear into big pharma, who stopped prescribing it, who took the women off of it. Why? Yes, cancers were coming and heart disease was coming. Was it the synthetic hormones? Likely, yes. It was the synthetic. Is the
Mm.
bioidentical? No. So I got off on a tangent a little bit because I'm very passionate about it because it drives me crazy that women have to suffer this way. And by the way, Alzheimer's, all right? Losing your mind. Heart disease is very prevalent with women. And so bioidentical hormone therapy, how do you take it then? Okay, so you go to the doctor, he does all of this. There are many ways that they can prescribe it. They can put it in a cream that you rub in your skin once, twice a day. They can put it in a sublingual tablet that you put under your tongue. Some doctors put pellets in your back butt, and they dissolve slowly. There are many ways
Oh, okay.
for this to come into your body. I will tell you that now with the FDA on board and whatever's happening in Washington, I don't go there. Um, you're going to see more and more of it. And so keep your ears open for it. Look for a doctor. If you're really, really suffering, you don't have to, is my
Mm,
message. Your regular doctor, if you go to talk to your regular doctor about how you're feeling, I'm depressed. I mean, a lot of menopausal women are depressed. A lot. Well,
mhm.
you're losing your hormones. Okay. Even Suzanne Summers wrote about that. I was even I was some doctor, I'll never forget her. She wanted to give me Prozac. I said, I'm not taking Prozac.
Oh my God.
Because I couldn't think. I just couldn't get my mojo going, right?
Mhm,
Something was wrong. And but a regular doctor is less and less now, but certainly in the last 10, 15, 20 years, the regular doctors controlled by the results of that 2002 Women's Initiative core study
mhm,
would not have prescribed bio hormone therapy, be it synthetic or bioidentical. They would not have prescribed it. But the bioidentical people were always coming up and had a different story. And so they were always there. But the regular doctor that you're going to, just your regular doctor, is going to want to give you an antidepressant.
okay. Well, it's good to
And
know that. I love that you are sharing this because, yeah, I remember when I went to my family doctor this year, and I had to ask her to get, a test about my hormones. I mean, I'm
yes,
I'm
yes,
47. I needed to
right,
ask her. I was
yes,
like, you suppose, and it's a she, so I'm like, it's why they don't consider this stuff
right.
part of a regular testing. It's so important.
They don't. And so about the she, well, there's 2 points. There's a great book called Estrogen Matters. Estrogen Matters for you and
Okay.
your audience. That's a great read. And another thing is there is a organization called the Menopause Society. You should
Okay.
probably be checking into that, given Midlife Butterfly. But the Menopause Society, and this is comprised of a lot of doctors at the helm now, and they're doing a lot of talks about bioidentical hormone therapy. So they're getting at the lead of it. They're
Mm,
getting at the lead of it. And not to get too crazy juicy about it, I guess, but I'll share one thing. Another thing that happens to women is we dry up. It's like the Sahara.
yeah.
When you got a husband and he doesn't understand the dry up Sahara, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so, you go to the jelly aisle at CVS and, you're trying to make your husband happy. Um, these, all doctors now, all doctors now are totally open to prescribing vaginal creams. And what's the vaginal cream? Estrogen. They have proven
Okay.
that it never leaves that area and it doesn't cause cancer.
Okay.
So for women that you're in a mated relationship and you want to have intimacy, but it's difficult, talk to your doctor about these vaginal creams.
Mm,
And Big Pharma sells them, insurance covers them, and they don't cause cancer, and they make a big difference in that area. So all of this is going to come out more and more.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's
Yeah.
been more research about
Yeah.
that and yeah, it's coming
Oh,
out more and
well,
then
that was
more women
fun.
also are going like, "Hey, hello, we are a lot of us." I mean,
There's a,
we're
yes,
having the privilege of aging, so I mean, right? It's
yes.
it's
And and as far as the aging goes, I mean, what happens a lot with the women is our bone density. This is a real problem, our bone density.
Mhm,
And so the estrogen certainly helps with that, but the testosterone. And any doctor, is going to give you enough to help maintain your bone strength because that leaves our body too. And so why do we get hip fractures and first of
mhm,
all, we teeter and fall because we're off balance because we don't have the hormones to keep us balanced.
mm.
Uh, I should have been
Yeah.
a doc. I should have been a doctor of that.
Well, you can add it to your list still, I
I'll
guess.
add it to the
Yeah.
list.
Wow. No,
Well, this
thank
has
you for
been
sharing.
delightful, but I think we went over time, but that's
Yeah.
okay with me.
No, it's fine. Uh, yeah, I'm so glad that you share about this because it's as and what you said, it's about doing our own
Do your own
diligence.
homework.
Yes, our own homework and to see what can works for us because each
Right.
of us we are different and different
Hmm.
things work for different women. And it's
Yes.
important for us to dig in and what kind of called us more, but
Right.
be well informed.
Be well informed, be your own doctor because otherwise you don't have a doctor. I want to make that very clear. It's
Agreed.
like go within, know yourself, be your own doctor. Only you can heal yourself. You and universal spirit.
Yeah, agreed. Because we are the only ones who knows our body. So
Yeah.
it's important to see if we're trying different things to see, okay, this working, this is not working, this feels this way, this feels that way.
Yeah.
And then from there, really decide what we want to preserve our own health. Because, yeah, agreed. We
Yes.
are our own orthodox,
We
of
are
course.
our own doctors and there are solutions out there.
Mhm.
We don't have to go down. We don't have to age out.
Oh no. Very no. Oh, there's so much to enjoy
There's
still.
too much. There's too much. We just, we were talking too that there are many great things about midlife, but one of the great things is, when you no longer get your cycle, when the monthly thing stops happening, what freedom? It's freedom from the emotional roller coaster. And it's like when you take an airplane ride and finally your ears pop.
Yes.
It's like that in life. Puff, puff. Wow. Oh, the cloud is lifted. Wow. I am a strong, dynamic being.
Love that.
It's true. It's
Wow.
true.
Oh, Jean has been such a
It's
pleasure
been fun.
talking to you. I love your energy, your light, your wisdom. Can you
Thank you.
share with our audience where they can find you?
Yes, please. Thank you. JeanneComeau.com. And that's the best way to find me. I'm out on YouTube too, but JeanneComeau.com. If anyone is interested in discovering what's possible, no commitment of anything, sign up for a discovery call, complimentary discovery call. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. Anybody want to talk about hormones? I'm always happy to talk about hormones. Anything you want to talk about. Send me any questions on the contact me form. And if you're interested in knowing your soul's blueprint, please check out my Know Your Stars page on my website, JeanneComeau.com.
Thank you, Jeannie. I'll be sharing the link in the show notes. And before we go, I would like to know how would you call this midlife chapter that you are in at this moment?
The midlife chapter that I'm in at this moment, well, I'm beyond midlife, which is interesting, just a little bit. And oh, it's a great question. I mean, I hesitate because I just find that who I was is so distant, is the
Mm,
only way I can say it, is
mm,
so distant. And who I am now and who I am becoming is very different. And I could have never seen that coming. Never.
Thank you
I
for
think,
sharing that because that's so wonderful. There is some women I've heard conversations that they feel stuck, that they are aging, that they are at the end of life when I do believe that this is the best chapter of life itself, midlife, which is several years, and
yes,
just and yeah, it's that keeping that exploration about again know thyself. So I
that's the
think
key.
that's the motor,
That's
the
the key.
engine that keep us going and
Yes,
exploring and knowing and enjoying and having that curiosity for life again
yes,
and again.
yes. And but I must add, because I had been through it in the perimenopause stage, for many women find themselves, they just can't get their mojo. They just can't snap out of it. So there's a physical thing happening here. Find the courage to get the answers and start to resolve that. The answers, and I will say it again, are not in the antidepressants.
Mm.
Right. And I'm sorry. I probably
Meditate.
many have benefited from them. It's just my personal opinion that
Hmm.
it won't keep the light shining in the long run.
Yeah. Mm. And what's a pleasure you enjoy the most?
Researching. I have a lot of Virgo in my chart. So, I love to research things and a lot of health things and a lot of spiritual things and just research is my biggest pleasure, and I delight in every new day. I love getting up early for the new day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, beautiful.
that's very important.
Well, Jeannie, thank you so much for being here. It has
It
been
went
really,
too
really a
fast.
pleasure talking to you.
Same here. Same here. Thank you to all of your guests for listening into us, and God bless. I wish for all of the light that you feel in your heart, that it comes through you to those around you, because that's what it's meant to do.
Yes. Mm. Thank you.
Bye bye.